Does it ever feel like life's unfair? Even though you always paid your fair share and you went to work like everybody else, you just couldn't help but feel like something was off. Life was just too hard. It just didn't need to be as hard as it is for you. And people around you would just say, well, you're out of your mind. This is just life. This is just how things are. But you always knew in the back of your mind that there was something that you were missing. My name's Resistance, a Spellbreaker. Allow me to share some things with you that you do not know. This is going to go back to Satan. And it's going to go back to what Satan said to Jesus. He said, worship me, and I'll give you all the kingdoms and all the riches of the earth, for they're mine to give for whom I choose. And Jesus, of course, resisted the temptation. Okay, we all know the story in the Bible. Now, another thing about Satan is that Satan wants to be like the Most High, okay? He wants to put his throne above the heavens, okay? We know that's not going to happen. But so Satan is not an originator. He is a copycat. So let me break it down to you. The Most High had his chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel. Satan has his chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel. You follow my drift, okay? The Most High's chosen people are, in captivity right now and in bondage. Satan's, not so much. Okay, so while you and I were at school learning lies and falsehoods to make us slave zombies, this particular group of people's children weren't in our schools with us. They went to a special school where they learned how to rule over us, believe it or not. So it's a coincidence, some will say, that these people are all multimillionaires. And I've met a guy, and I was telling him about this, and he was like, you're out of your mind. We happen to be working for one. And I said to him, didn't you do 26 years in prison? And he said, yeah, I did. And I said, I bet you never seen one of them in there. And he stopped. And then he knew that I was on to something, because he said, yeah, you're right. I never did see one of them in there. Not only did you never see one of them in there, and you saw everybody else, every other ethnicity was in there. You can even look it up. It's like 0.01% of our prison population is them. Well, why is that? It couldn't be because they control the court system. It couldn't be because these are secular court systems. See, when you start to connect dots like that, this is when you become an anti-whatever and you become a hateful bigot, when you're able to see things like this. Not only that, I can tell you, okay, someone's going to be on here and they're because you probably know one of them, and you're probably like, there's no way that, John was one of them, or Bill, or Sally was one of them. I can tell you something about John, Bill, or Sally. They didn't work for you. You could have owned your own business for the last 40 years, and not one of them ever came and put an application in to try to work for you. But I bet you've worked for one of them. I can guarantee you that if you know one of them, they've never been in our military, and if they were in the military, they weren't deployed. I can guarantee you that person's, if you know one of them, they've never been to prison. I can guarantee you, if you know one of them, they've never been to the homeless shelter. Go down to the homeless shelter, you won't see none. Go down to the freaking food lines, you'll never see one. Go to the food pantry, you'll never see one. Go to the freaking job fair where people are looking for jobs, you're never going to see one. They're just conveniently upscale and above us. And that's just kind of the way things are. And when you research, why do these particular group of people have so much money? What you get is like the most insane story of like, oh, well, when they were children, they were taught to save their nickels, and you spent your nickels on candy bars, and that's the reason that they're now rich and you're poor, because they were taught good things from their elders, and they respect the shit that it's so funny when you try to look into like, okay, give me an answer for this. Oh my God, what the internet tells you is just, it's so laughable. But anyway, so that's just to bring a little bit of clarity as to, you're not just crazy. You are a goyim, okay? You are a cattle, you are a sheep, and you are there to make money for them. And this world being Satan's world, his chosen people are given privileges high above you. Now, this isn't the only particular group of people who get these privileges. Of course, the Freemasons and, other people who are tax exempt, who hide behind the religious system. So secret societies in general, are making bank off of you while you're over here working for freaking peanut shells, and can't get by, and you're living with no electricity in the middle of winter. Life doesn't have to be like this. You weren't just crazy this whole time. You were onto something, and everyone around you was a stupid ass zombie.